What?
So,
Man, I don't know what to say.
you don't need to say anything.
Oh my goodness, that is gorgeous.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing!
Wow, that is beautiful. Beautiful, oh man.
If you'd like to follow the process of turning a block of wood like this into a guitar like this, then you've come to the right place. And if you would like to see me give this guitar away, click subscribe, hit the bell. Okay, Corwin was foolish enough to follow, Corwin was the wise and decided to follow my choice for pickups. Well, Corwin, we need to do a death march now. Hey, Merry Christmas, guys! It is Christmas Eve. I love Christmas time. Well, first off, I better clarify, it is the morning of Christmas Eve. But I pray that you will have a wonderful, blessed Christmas and a fantastic 2022 as we go into 2022. 2 weeks ago, I hit my anniversary of 1 year on YouTube with this Let's Build a Guitar YouTube channel, and so kind of pumped about that. But could you do me a really big favor? Would you go back to that video and go down to the comment section and let me know which of the 5 was your favorite guitar giveaway? I'd like to know, because we are coming up on another guitar giveaway before too terrible long. Well, it's going to be a few months, but we got to figure out who we're going to give this beauty to, and I just kind of want to know what is it that you really like and in the guitar giveaways. I'm not going to choose who gets this guitar. I'm going to let my Patreon supporters tell me who's going to get this guitar. And the way it's going to work, if you're a first level patron on Patreon, you're going to get 1 vote. If you're a level 2 patron on Patreon, you're going to get a weight of 3 votes. And if you are a 3rd level patron on Patreon, then you're going to actually get a weight of 10 votes to decide who is going to get this guitar. So that's kind of cool. I'm keeping out of it. I'm going to have to filter out, of course, which are legitimate nominations, but you can nominate anybody on this planet for this guitar, and we will have the Patreon supporters vote on who's going to get it. So we're going to go out now and bevel the edges of Mr. X's 2 guitars that we're building for him. We're going to then cut the swirl in to those as well. I still need to do some work on this one here, just a little bit there, so that it looks a little more like this. I'm getting there with this one. This one still needs to have some sanding and shaping down here on this end as well, but we're getting closer. You can kind of see how that's starting to come around and getting that carved out. So got to do that. Let's go up there and take care of that first. Well, in one of the last videos, I told Corwin about how we always put a piece of wood on to protect the wood from getting damaged. Now, I did this one purposefully, but I wanted to let you see what it does when you don't put a piece of wood there. You see that circle there left from the clamp. And the reason why that was okay, and actually even this little piece of wood made a little bit of lines there. The reason why this was okay, though, and I wasn't too worried about that, is this part of the body is going to disappear. It'll be cut off at an angle, so I wasn't worried about it. But it is good for you to see what it looks like. So bigger pieces, even bigger pieces on this would be better, because there's little lines there that I'm going to have to get rid of now. But that's what it looks like when you put a clamp on the wood good and tight and you don't have something protective underneath it. But this will be cut off at a 45-degree angle, or an angle, and then actually this here won't be 45, it'll be a little bit more angled there. This is the second guitar body for Mr. X that I'm taking these clamps off of, and I'm going to go upstairs and get this one sanded down, ready to go, and then we're going to route the rest of these bodies. All right, one of the important things that I want to do today is it's time for me to bevel these edges on Mr. X's 2 guitar bodies. I've got them both now sanded and ready to go. You always make sure to sand the sides and have them level like you want it so that your ball bearing will ride where it needs to be and not have any bumps, because any of those bumps will show up on the bevel itself. The router bit that I use for this is a CMT. It is a 45-degree angle bit. I'm going to be cutting this at 5/8 of an inch in, is how deep I can go without having to worry about myself cutting anything too deep that I don't want to do. So 5/8 of an inch is the thickness that I can go. I'm going to measure it first on a scrap piece of wood to make sure it's where I need to be. And to do that, I just need to hold up this and a ruler up to it. That'll show me exactly how far I am on that angle. I go around the entire body with this. Now I can turn it around. And we will do this side. I even do up here. You got to be really careful up around the swirl area here. But that's going to be sanded way down, but just got to make sure that I keep my router level as I come around that. Turned out, as you can see, I got some burn marks on there from the router bit, so it might be needing about time to get a new router bit possibly, but this is a pretty hard wood. But yeah, that'll just take a little bit of sanding, but that's okay because it will be sanded. I've got the back and the front all beveled. You can see that the bit is probably getting a little bit dull, and that's why we've got some burn areas there. But it really doesn't matter because it'll sand off really quick and easy for me. Now, before I do any other routing, I want to get this swirl in here, like on those other guitars. That's a little bit of a tricky one, and that kind of scares me a little bit too, because how I do that, and if I don't do that one right, I can just, well, throw the guitar body away. So this one really, well, with any of this, if you get it wrong, you're done. But this one's just a little bit more difficult. So I've got a very ugly template that I use, but it works well. So this is my template. It is not the prettiest, but it works really well. I just need to make sure that this side is where my ball bearing follows around. This side is jagged. It doesn't matter because this is just there to give me space for this. So I've got this cut so that it's coming alongside the body here, and it comes alongside the body here, and then I got a mark here where this point is over here, and you can see that just leaves a little bit of a gap there, but it gives me the good swirls. I should be able to put a screw in there because that's where my humbucker goes, and then I can put a screw in here because that's where the 1/4-inch jack will go. What I've done to make this cut in here with the router is I took a 1/4-inch straight bit that just cuts it, and I filed it off until it was going to be at the length in which it would fit my template and get me right where I need to be, and that would be short enough. Otherwise, all of them were all too long, so I had to cut this one down, file it down to make it shorter, and it works great. So I'm going to make sure that I've got a wide foot stance as I do this. I want to be able to be good and low. I'm going to start out here and come around this way, and when it gets to this part, that's when it's going to start to cut. I hold it up against this edge, bring it in, turn it off, let it stop completely before I remove it. When I'm on the edge doing certain routes, I'll pull the router away like this and don't have to worry. But I am not going to pull it out, I'm not going to move it, or if I slip or make one sudden slip, it's going to just totally destroy everything. So let me get it in place where it needs to be. All right, let's take those screws out and you can see what it looks like here. Okay, I'm going to hit it really quick with the sander, and I'll just show you how this goes. Now I do this a little bit different with the solid bodies than I do with the semi-hollows. The semi-hollows, I use the router typically all the way around, and I do some solid bodies that way. But otherwise, I'll come up to here with the router on this bevel edge, stop, and then I just completely round this with this. The original is, these are all rounded slightly, and then this is definitely a round, but I can still take it off and then just round this out. Right now here I'm going to be using the Dremel to come down and around, and I'll finish that off, and then I'll also bring this in the way it needs to be, and by the time I'm done there, well, you'll see the end product. But I just get that rounded off in real time, and that's how I'm doing these X horizons, and this will come right around nice, and you'll see that as I cut that with the Dremel, it'll all come into place really nice. And then of course some sandpaper is going to have to get used in here. Well, because Corwin totally destroyed my other router, I have to switch router bits out now. Just kidding, not really. Corwin didn't do anything wrong. That router's given me a lot of good service, so apparently it's time to go. So I will be switching out bits though with this router. I was hoping to get this done last time, but I didn't, so I'm going to start on this bridge pickup cavity for this X Horizon. Okay, what I just said, totally scratch. No, I'm not going to start with the bridge cavity. See, this is why it takes time to think, and sometimes I don't take time to think, and I should. I need to route out the neck pocket before I do this, because otherwise I won't have a place to screw in my template. I mean, there are other ways to attach your template, but I like to screw it in so that it doesn't move. So I will undo this, and I need to do it this way. And you know what? The other one, I did route that already. Dang it. Oh well, I can still make it work. It's just gonna take more time. To get my 3-degree angle on my neck pocket on those X Horizon guitars, I don't do anything that's too technically outstanding. I made my wedges that are at a 3 degrees and stick them on, and that's it. And then you'll see I'll just put this then on the body, and my pocket cavity will be at a 3-degree angle for these X Horizon guitars, which are a little different than those Telecaster style guitars, because now I need to have an angled neck pocket. So it's going to be at an angle of about 3 degrees, and to do that I have cut a wedge that will get me at my 3 degrees, so I will just have to put this on there. I am going to screw these down, cut that neck angle out of there. The entire time I got to use the template, because if I take the template off and just go down, well, then I'm going to end up with a flat cut, which I don't want. It's got to be angled back. And then because I'm angled back, I'm going to go down to 11/16 to 3/4 of an inch in my depth because of the angle and because of the type of bridge that I'll be using, which is a little bit higher, taller bridge. Bridge saddles will be taller than what they would be on a Telecaster or a Stratocaster type bridge. Let's have at it. I need to go down about 3/8 of an inch still. These are really handy little measuring tools. Pick yourself up one if you can. So, 1, 2, 3. What I am looking to accomplish with this 3-degree angle is to have my angle so that my strings are close to my fretboard with what will be a little bit taller of a bridge, as this bridge is going to be up at about so once we get the posts underneath it. So I just set it there. I've got an old Squire neck that I don't use, but it's got the ability for me to just drop it in here, see how it is and see how close it is to the body top. And then I can set this on here, see, and you can see if I were to come straight off of those frets, hold that down there, this needs to be up to about here just to get to the fret, and it's going to have to be a little bit higher than that. So that should be a pretty good set right there at 13/16 of an inch. Well, I received a package the other day from Mr. X sending me something that he found for his guitars, those gold guitars that we're going to be doing, or working gold into those guitars. So I'm going to open up this package. I know it's in there, but what he came across were, he was able to track down, because he's got a few connections, so he was able to get a hold of some of the guys who are connected with Schaller, and he was able to have somebody dig up a couple of new old stock, 1982 is what he's saying, so 1982 new old stock Schaller bridges. Now most of the time, in order to find these bridges, we get them like this. We'll get a used one, and then I will send this down to Nashville, Tennessee, and have it replated in gold. It's the same bridge as what's in here, except for it's been used, and so they basically will refinish it so it's like new. But let me open these up and just take a look once. One time I was able to get a brand new Schaller 455 gold bridge. So let me see if I can get this off here. Put that down.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to the store.
Okay.
I'm going straight to Finian's.
Okay.
Rhonda.
Okay.
And then if I didn't get enough time, I'm going to the other store.
To the other store.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Okay, gotcha. Yep,
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, love you, babe. That's my wife. Anyway, so let's just take a look here. I'll bring the camera in close and you can see me unwrap it. Brand new Schaller 455. So a little bit different. Oh yeah, I gotta make sure that I send those screws along as well. So we'll get this one. So take a look at it now, how they look, and I'm gonna send this one off and we'll see what it looks like coming back. So the biggest thing is that these threads inside, you'll see those are gold threads inside. If we have those threads plated, then what happens is we can't use the bridge saddles because there's too much metal on the threads. So that's the one drawback of having them replated. But if I can find screws like that, which I don't know that I can. Now start to put things in storage in here for him. Let's see things out of there. But he also gave me a box of other little parts. Let me check out, see what he's got here for me. So there's some real specific things that he wanted. One of the things is he wears some really expensive clothes, custom-made clothing and stuff, so any of the screws on the back, he likes them to have a specific round head on them. So I'm going to be doing that. He sent me some gold strings, Brian May, they're gold string. 24 karat gold electric guitar strings, Brian May. And okay, from All Parts, he got some different screws. Wonderful. Well, then I know that I can get those from All Parts. Great. He got a couple of the Schaller strap locks. He wanted these specifically and not the new ones. These are the ones that you actually use. It's a Phillips head that you screw in. The new ones use a hex head Allen wrench, and you just put it in and the whole piece turns in. And he has found that those tend to break off easier. So we're going with that Schaller. And this guy thinks ahead because he sent me 4 of them. Now the thing is with these brass nuts, typically in order to get them to fit right, and I'm going to take this out because I'm just going to show you, they're not finished. They are close to being finished, or maybe somebody thinks they're finished, but if you look, you can see that they have marks on them. They're not really well rounded. I sand all that and make it except as I look at this, I think these are actually gold-plated brass nuts. The ones that I do, even though they're not gold-plated, they turn out quite gold because of the brass in there. These look to be like they have a plating on them, but it's a plating, but you can still see, I don't know, can you see that? There's like all sorts of little marks in there. I don't like that. Not good enough for me. So even though those are plated, I'm probably going to sand that off to round them and make it look right, because even though it's a nice gold shine, it's a nice gold shine with marks in it, and I don't want that. I want it to look like jewelry when it's done. But he sent me 4. The good thing about that is that because you have to resize them, usually I have to resize and make it so that it's just at the exact height that I want for the strings. And so since you have to resize them, man, you go just a little too far and all of a sudden that nut is done. No good anymore. Unless you put a shim underneath, which I prefer not to do. You can do it, and I've done it in the past at times, but you prefer not to shim something like that. I want to do this without any shims. So, hey guys, thanks for watching again. Take care. Fight for joy. We'll see you next time.